Good afternoon. It is Thursday, April 28th, 2022, and this is Raven Dana welcoming you to Between the Worlds. I want to consider a brand new way of looking at human beings today. Just for a few minutes, entertain the possibility that we are much, much larger beings than we imagine ourselves to be, with immense connections that move through every aspect of nature, connecting us in ways that we don't stop to think about, and ways that we don't even try to imagine, but that put us in touch with deeper realities and realities that span dimensions. What if this human portal that we call our bodies and our minds is just an access point to our three-dimensional lives? What if, just like an iceberg, the being that we are is so much bigger, vaster, more powerful than this little point of reference that we consider to be who we are? What if we have the power to interface and communicate and negotiate with things like our physical health, our physical form, the weather? Now, through all kinds of different cultures, we hear stories about miracles, about healers, about shaman who can do extraordinary things. We hear about Native Americans who can dance up a rainstorm. We hear about cures that are extraordinary. And I'm proposing that instead of these things being the odd experience, that these things actually are our true nature, that we have simply not evolved enough or opened our minds enough to accept and accelerate our skills in these other areas. It doesn't mean that we don't have those skills. It doesn't mean that we're not capable. It doesn't mean that these few people we hear about are different than we are. They are just special in the sense that their minds and their trainings have opened themselves to deeper realities that we do share, but that we don't buy into. So I just want you to have this thought that our minds use our beliefs and expectations to filter reality. That's not a mystery, and it's just basic science. That when we have certain ways of thinking and believing and feeling, then even our daily experiences are filtered by those thoughts and behaviors, which means that if we strongly don't believe in something, we are not likely to see it even if we walk past it. And it's true. It happens. I remember a long time ago, I read about a study that was done, which was really remarkable. It was the study was reported in the Reader's Digest, I don't know, many years ago, but it went like this. A survey was given, and they looked for, out of thousands of people, they selected the people, 100 people who were the most optimistic, positive, had the mindset that good things happen to them. And then they selected the top 100 people that they felt were the most negative, were in the sense that they felt that if I had any luck at all, it might be bad luck, that kind of thing. So they took this group of 200 people, and what they told them was that they were doing a psychological study, and they were looking to see how relaxed or edgy they were during an interview type of process. Well, it wasn't about the interview at all. They had these people one at a time walk into this coffee house and sit down at a table and answer a few questions for somebody. But what it was really about was the $20 bill lying in the doorway of the coffee house. They postulated that the positive people would, more of them would see it and pick it up or keep it or turn it in than the people who thought that, their luck was against them. Well, as it turned out, it was pretty remarkable because 99 out of 100 of the optimists saw the 20. Um, Many of them kept it, some of them picked it up and turned it in, but 99 of them saw it, and 100% of the pessimists stepped over it. Although two said they saw it, but they left it there because it wasn't theirs. Okay, so neither of those two picked it up, kept it, nor turned it in. They just stepped over it. So the point that I want to make is that when we have a filter in our minds, it is actually a filter. I have worked with clients where, for example, the woman was complaining that the guy, her husband, just didn't never put his hands on her, didn't touch her, didn't hug her, didn't, wasn't affectionate in public. And his complaint was that she very rarely, if ever, complimented him on all the things he did around the house. Well, I'm here to tell you that I had a lunch conversation with them. I'm meeting with them over lunch, and the first thing that the husband did when he sat down, I was sitting with her first, and he came in and he sat down and he put his arm around her, kind of caught her hair, and she like nudged him off and scooted over a little bit, and she was actually in the middle of telling me about the great job he was doing finishing the bathroom and the colors that he picked and how she liked it, and that's what she was saying when he came in and sat down. And so she continued just for another maybe 10 seconds or so, finishing her statement. And he then put his hand, patted her on the arm and asked her what she wanted for lunch. And she kind of moved her hand out from under his and picked up her menu and did her thing. And then she went back to saying something about, oh yeah, by the way, there were these horrible nest of raccoons living in the garage, and the brave hunter over here finally got them out, and like that. And he kind of chuckled. And anyway, it went on for a while. So she complimented him 4 times. He touched her affectionately 3 times. And then I stopped the conversation and said, okay, how many times did she compliment you? How many times did he touch you? And both of them were like, he didn't touch me. She didn't compliment me. Okay, so I replayed back for them what I had seen, and it was very entertaining. So this is the kind of thing that happens all the time. I'm only bringing up this point because, when we're talking about unearthing or mining our deeper connections with things and our abilities and our skills at negotiating the realm between the worlds, our ability to relax our minds enough to see what's in front of us has a role to play. So if you want to experience a deeper reality, the reality around us, the way that trees, for example, communicate deeply and profoundly with each other below the ground, it's one thing to study it and know it intellectually. It's another thing entirely to kind of get it in your body that these are sentient beings communicating with each other, right? So when we're talking about our own skills and abilities, can we heal our bodies? Do we contribute to our own dis-ease? How do our beliefs and expectations play out in light of our experiences with others, with our families, with our jobs, with our health? Because there is a direct relationship between our beliefs and expectations and the experiences that we have. And a lot of it does have to do with our filters, what we are willing to accept as possible. So that's not to say that if you believe that you can fly, you're going to jump out the window and flap your arms. No, you're going to sink. We're not talking about that. What we are talking about is the whole deeper realm of abilities and skills, the 6th, 7th, 8th senses that we possess. And we know we possess because there are those among us who have those skills. I myself grew up in a family with a grandma who had prophetic dreams, and really prophetic dreams. I don't mean like she was, prophesying great world change. She was telling things about what was going to happen in the family and to people that we knew and to friends and to relatives. And with a very high level of accuracy. So that's only one thing. I mean, we know people who are really good. You probably know somebody that's really good with home remedies and healing. Somebody who can give a home remedy and theirs will work where somebody else's with the same ingredients may not. Well, there's an ingredient in there. And that has to do with the energetic component or the skill level that they bring to bear energetically on what they're doing. So whether you know somebody that has seen UFOs or had an experience that you would consider a ghost encounter, or an experience with between world beings or nature spirits, the thing that I want you to get is that rather than put your mind in this space of, oh, that's I can't do that, I could never do that, to open to the possibility that just like if you want to learn how to ride a bike, you're going to have to get up on it and fall off a few times, that if you actually wanted to expand your awareness, it's possible. We have that skill set. We have those abilities. They're just not that developed in the majority of us. So anyway, I'm having this conversation with you today because I'm going to teach a class. I'm going to offer a class that focuses on trees, kind of as our overview of how our connections with life work. I don't know about you, but I have always just loved trees. Trees are my solace, they're my companions, they're my friends. I visit some of my favorite trees in the neighborhood seasonally to see how they're doing and how they're changing. If you think that's crazy, that's okay, you can. But I want you to, if you enjoy nature and you enjoy trees, I want you to have the opportunity. So these are some of the books I'll be using. To Speak for the Trees is one of them. The Songs of Trees is another. The Heartbeat of Trees. So if you have any interest in any of these books but don't want to read all of them, this is a class for you. Finding the Mother Tree. And of course, Overstory. So I'm going to be using excerpts from all of those books and talking about trees and nature and the profound interconnectedness of life. I will also be painting a picture of what it is to be a human being that's outside the box of what we imagine ourselves to be. And I so invite you into that conversation. I would love to hear what you say and hear your experiences. So I'm going to go through these books and I'm going to pick out excerpts and things that are exciting and interesting and thrilling to put forth in the class. And then we're going to continue the conversation as to how that pertains to how we interface with the world of nature. So I hope you'll join me. The class is going to begin the second week in June, and I will put up a full body of information, a class description and the times and all that stuff coming up soon. Within a couple of days, I'll post something on that. But I just want you to have the opportunity to think about it ahead of time. Like how fun would it be to actually experience some things about trees that lead you directly to a greater experience of yourself and of human beings in general. Anyway, I'm excited about putting this together and I hope you join me. If you have any questions, you can find me, ravendana55@gmail.com. You can also, of course, find me on Facebook. On my pages there, Stress Wizard Coaching, The Witch School, and right here on my channel, Between the Worlds. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope to talk to you again soon. Have a great evening.